your boy T Hattie, and I'm in the field with the Trackstarz. Where you at, shouty? Holla at your boy.
Yeah, back in the field with the Trackstarz, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. All right, so there's been a lot of controversy about the movie Noah. I've looked at my Facebook timeline, and a lot of Christians are saying, don't watch it. It's terrible, this and that. Because the person who made it is an atheist, including Miles Austin actually said that. Did you see that?
I said it on my Facebook page.
Yeah, Miles
Twitter.
Austin said, I found out it's an atheist. I'm not watching it. Ryan was like, yeah, me neither, and all that kind of stuff.
But I'm on.
But me and Jeremiah watched it.
Yeah.
So what is the deal with the Noah movie? So you saw it. So
Yeah.
what's the controversy?
I think the controversy in it. All right, so only thing I could say, of course, is like what I said earlier about the flood. The part when what happened in like when it was in a boat, like what happened in a boat. You don't. That's not in the text. Like you don't see that.
Well, but that's for any movie. I mean, I've like what's it called? The Ten Commandments.
Yeah.
They had you fill in gaps with where there's no text, because actual Noah's story is like a couple chapters.
Yeah,
it's not long.
it's short as mess.
Yeah, so I mean, you got to make up something.
Yeah.
You got to make up dialogue.
Yeah.
So I didn't have too much of an issue with any of that. I think there was one main thing that was a big deal to me, which was clearly propaganda from the director.
Okay.
All right, so you remember, this is not a spoiler, you can read it in the Bible. Remember
Spoiler.
spoiler alert.
How you spoil that? This is what happens.
Remember when Noah was telling his kids how we got here, the creation story.
Yeah.
Everything Noah said was accurate.
Yeah.
But what they showed on the screen was not accurate. He was saying stuff, but what they were showing on the screen was the Big Bang and
That's
evolution.
what I was kind of thought about it, because you never seen. First off, that was hot though.
It was a hot
dope.
sequence.
It was dope. But when the first thing is like you don't see God, or you don't see, and that's another thing they kept saying, the creator. They never say God.
Of course,
they kept saying like that. You know what I'm saying? But that was hot though.
It was a hot sequence.
Yeah.
But if you look at it carefully, he was saying in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. He was just saying the Bible.
Yeah.
But what they showed was an explosion.
Yeah.
Stars start spinning. You see the earth kind of form out of like rock, and then something hits it, and the moon spins off of it, and it forms. And then you start seeing this one cell organism split, and then it turns into something that swims. Then it gets on land, and then you see it turn into something a reptile.
Yeah.
See, it kept switching into it implied evolution.
That's crazy.
Even though what he was saying was in the beginning.
See, I didn't even
God
catch.
created.
You know why I didn't catch that? Because he was saying it, and it was happening.
It was yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the whole view that who you Christians call God, we call the Big Bang.
Yeah.
And they were saying it matches up perfectly, so why do y'all believe what y'all believe?
Yeah.
And I think that's the.
See, I didn't catch that. I just caught when he was talking and it was happening. It was matching together. But what you're saying makes sense.
Yeah. So that was a clear. I'm messing with this. You know what I mean? And of course they changed a bunch of details. The fact that in the Bible it actually says that the sons were already married. They brought their wives on, but in the story, in the movie, that was a big part of it. Them finding wives.
My wife had a big problem with when it was time to bounce and Noah did what he did with Ham. She had a major problem.
What did he do to Ham?
With that? Well,
Spoiler alert.
spoiler alert.
This actually is a spoiler.
Do you want me to say it?
I don't care.
Okay. So Ham was like, he left the ark while they was building the ark. He left the ark to find his wife.
Oh yeah, he went ham.
Yeah. So
He went ham.
he was the flush was killing him. So
Unintended.
so when he came and they was about the flood started, like water just started, rain started happening, and he found a young lady. He was talking to her, bonding with her. He basically helped her. So they're running in the woods, and then her leg gets trapped like in this boom trap.
Yeah.
So Noah wants to ran and started trying to find him, and and when he saw him, he just grabbed Ham and pushed her and kept going. And Maya was like, "Oh no!"
In the movie theater.
She was like, "Yo, I didn't expect that." I laughed on. She was like, she thought he was going like save her. He was like, forget her, and grabbed him. And Ham was like, no. That Jake was.
So yeah, they changed a lot of details. So, but the issue is, an atheist guy made this thing. He said he always connected with the story Noah. He always thought Noah was an interesting character
That's
because
crazy.
he basically watched everybody die except his family. And they had a scene where you hear people screaming outside the boat, and they're like, "Why can't we let him in?" And he's like, "No."
But it's,
What? Are you serious?
They interpreted the story a lot, but I mean, you could see, of course, yeah. I mean,
But
you don't
you-
think about that.
But you can see why you can see why atheists would hate God after watching that movie, though.
Of course.
Because it's
Yeah,
like
that's crazy.
Because he like the part like with the spoiler alert, even with the baby, like
Yeah.
almost about to shank the baby and all, like it was.
But again, all that's made up.
But even like prime example, Bill Maher, like I heard him say, talked about Noah, and he was talking about how like Noah was like God is just the angry God because you just letting people die because they weren't like righteous
and that's
enough.
I heard this. I used to watch a lot of the debates, and I actually watched one recently between Bill Nye the Science Guy and Professor Ham.
Yeah.
It was great. Ham did well. Of course, none of the atheists thought he did well. I thought he did great.
I've seen him.
But there was a lot of atheist debates, and what's funny is one I think they were talking to Christopher Hitchens, and they said, "You don't believe in God, but you hate him."
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. It's like you don't believe in him, but you hate him. Why do you hate somebody you don't believe in?
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. Bill Maher seems to hate God as well. It's like he kills people. He's this. He's that.
yeah.
But the reason he's saying that is to say, why do you believe in him?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's the point. That's the reason why he's saying that. But
So isn't there a part of the director's life where he at one time was a Christian or his family was Jewish?
Jewish.
Okay.
Well,
Did he ever at any time was he ever considered a believer?
no.
He was
Nah,
invited
never.
to a Catalyst conference. I was there with Kristen Kirsten and Dr. Nina, and that's like that in the Passion or literally the Catalyst
Catalyst
conference
is
is like
huge.
the
Yeah.
largest.
Yeah.
He was there, like he showed like the little world premiere of the trailer
Oh, that's right.
for
When
the
they
movie
got backlash.
like last summer, and he didn't say he was a Christian, but like the way he presented himself, like was like he was a Christian. I'm slick shocked that they had him there. I'm not gonna say it's horrible that they had him there, but like I thought he was a Christian.
I think people didn't know. People didn't
Yeah,
know.
probably.
People were thinking this is Noah. This is the story of Noah.
That's what I
Like
think.
I think it was like the Passion of the Christ. Like Passion of the Christ got a cosign. It was good. From start to finish, it went all the way through without.
But it was also the #1 movie. Like,
And that's all- and
when
that's
it
why-
the first weekend it came out, it was the #1 movie in the world.
And I'm not going to see Noah for two reasons. One, if I see a movie like that, I wanted the movie like the Passion of the Christ did. Two, I got a baby, and babysitters are hard to come by, so I'm not going to waste
not a
time
reason.
going to see a movie that I don't really care to see that everybody's talked about.
Wait,
already.
you say you wanted it to be like Passion of Christ?
What do you
I
mean
wanted
by
to be biblically sound. Like I wanted to be good to the point where I'm like, oh man, this is a great win for us. Like it needs to be covered.
I sent out a tweet after I saw it, and I said, I don't go to the movies. I don't typically go to the movies to learn. I typically go for the
entertainment
visuals and the drama.
Yeah,
So I'm
'cause
good.
Hollywood.
I did
I
not
don't-
understand it. I was like, what does that mean?
I don't.
kept reading it.
What I'm saying is, I didn't expect to learn anything from Noah, so I don't care if it's accurate.
No, but the thing is that I think when we have movies out there that are of biblical proportion, then that helps non-believers come around.
But it
I
does talk though.
I don't think so. I think you're missing an opportunity because, and I heard this from somebody at Westridge. He saw the movie and he wrote a blog about it because he said that this is a great opportunity for you to witness.
Yeah, it is.
You have a movie that people who are not Christians are going to watch because it's big time, it's epic. You get a chance to bring up God without sounding weird. And you get a chance to dialogue about what the Bible says and what it doesn't say. It's an open door for you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Maybe.
But another thing too was like when I left the movie theater when me and my wife was leaving, it was a cat was talking and he was like, "Yeah, man, this is all preparation for what's going to happen again." You know what I mean? God coming back. Like, he was just talking. He was randomly talking when you hear that. So that was like that's what you said. It's like
starts
great.
conversations.
It does
Starts conversations.
because yeah. I mean, it does. Another thing too. I wonder why they didn't put the rainbow in it. Like
did
they?
It was at the end.
I must
You
have
just
missed
weren't
it.
watching the movie. It
I
sounded like
was.
you
No,
were
no, no.
sleeping.
They put it in.
I probably was because that's one of my days off.
What my wife pointed out was they put it in, but they didn't say what it meant.
Man, okay.
They just showed a rainbow, but they didn't say anything about it.
Yeah.
Biz will tell
I know-
you what it means.
But another thing too is like the difference is God was speaking, to Noah?
Yeah, they didn't
Where
show none of that.
they showed him just getting visions from God.
If you have to go in, if you're gonna end up watching it for the purposes of witnessing or whatever, you gotta understand a couple things. What the agenda is. The agenda is to get you to believe that everything in your Bible is natural selection that humans explained away by adding God into it. That's what they think. They think that humans just invented God to explain something they couldn't explain. But all this was just happenstance, right? Yeah. And number two, I think you have to go in just knowing that the agenda is to get you to stop believing in God. Like, you just have to realize that. And if you're strong enough and you understand what's going on, then you can use that when you speak.
But I believe another thing too is like if you have faith, it just helps your faith. Like when I watched that, it was just like, yo, that's like you said, it's a great witnessing tool. It's for somebody like even when you catching a Big Bang, like I didn't catch that because he was speaking. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So like certain things like that it just makes you like even think more as a Christian. From my perspective, it made you just think more of God. Like, wow, God, you. And
the reason I say this is because the time I got the closest to God and the deepest in my faith was when I was faced with questions I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I had to look it up. I had to research it. I had to ask questions. I had to dig in because I was debating or dialoguing with somebody who didn't believe in what I believed in, and I didn't have all the answers, so I had to research it.
You ain't got the answers, Sway.
I don't have the answers, so I had to go find out what the answers were, or at least get close as I can. And that desire to seek out the answers and not be afraid of what you're going to find out, because I think a lot of Christians are afraid to research because they're afraid that they're going to find out that they don't believe anymore.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. They're scared that they already don't believe, and then they're going to find out they really don't believe when they find out information. I'm not afraid of that. So you got to be confident in your faith to know that if it's true, it's true. Ain't nothing you do is going to change the trueness of God.
Yeah.
He's true or he's not true. So you shouldn't have any fear of science. You shouldn't have any fear of learning about history, or all that should be fearless because you know God is real. Oh yeah.
Now, what they talked about? They talked about angels coming to Earth and Genesis. Yeah. Now, I've heard recently that, like years ago, that was the deal why God did destroy Earth because the angels or demonic angels were
Enoch and all that stuff.
Yeah. So, but on the movie, they were protecting Noah and helping Noah. You know what I'm saying? So
here's my thing. They changed a lot of details. If you read the story of Noah, it starts out by saying that there's angels that came down and were having relations with
super spoiler
women.
alert.
Yeah. Go read
biblical. Have a Bible. Go read the Bible.
If you ain't got past Genesis 4, then all right. But anyway, so it was a weird situation where there were these. It's strange.
Rock creatures, right?
It was very strange. And the reason I bring that up is because if you actually read the real story of Noah, it's weird enough to make a movie about.
It is.
Yeah.
Instead of inventing other stuff. Like
there's a lot of stuff.
That is a weird story.
Yeah.
And to me, a biblical director could have taken what's actually there and bring that to life. That would have been cool enough.
Yeah.
Instead of adding a bunch of weird stuff that wasn't true. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Read the story of Noah, for real. It's weird. You can make a movie with the actual story of Noah. It's some strange stuff in there. And again, like, let this be a challenge to your faith. Let this make you research. Let this make you ask questions. Yeah. And let this make you be a better witness when people come at you with stuff like this, so you have the right thing to say back. Like, you can't just sit by yourself and, no, I believe in God. Don't talk to me. You got to be willing to challenge it and talk to other people. If you don't have any sense about yourself to talk to somebody else, and you're wasting your time. Like, you have to engage with people on topics of faith.
So you basically believe that we're supposed to be Christians that just don't have faith, but explain your faith besides just your testimony.
It says have an answer. It says, have an answer, have a reason. If anyone asks you, like, you should have an answer, like, for why you believe what you believe. Mm-hmm. So I definitely believe that. Study to show yourself approved. I mean, all of that.
That's what's up. So that's my thing. If you don't feel comfortable watching it, don't watch it. I hear all the Christians. I get the point.